What up, YouTube? We are about to polish on a T680 and the wheels are dirty, as you can see in here. These bad boys, they're not bad, they're not great, they're not bad. They're level ones. You can see all the black grime in there. That black grime is super hard to polish through, so you're either gonna have to sand it off, scrub it off, or do something. In this case, we're doing acid. So we've got some of our brightener here from Chemtrue out of Reno, and we are just spraying down this wheel. We are acid washing. We're doing that thing that we talk about not doing. Reason for that is that we're getting ready to polish it. So we're going to burn these wheels up pretty good, get everything super clean, and that way it is easier to polish. So we're gonna spray them all down like this, get them good and white with that Chemtrue brightener, and then Jaden's gonna come through. He's got a red Scotch-Brite. He's just gonna lightly go through and agitate that wheel. This is gonna take off any of that stuff. So the biggest thing is that with road grime like this is that black road grime is like little particles, right? And it's like rust particles from brake dust and everything else, especially on these is disc brake. And he's going to scrub that off of there, and that will make it easier when it comes time to polish. We won't have to try to buff it off there or scrub it off later. The acid will help remove it as well. And so Jaden's gonna work on that. He's gonna get around the lug nuts. That's a big thing. Here you can see that we have got this wheel all done. It is just wiped and cleaned. Now all the black streaking you see from there is because these are chrome lug nut covers, and acid's reaction with the chrome on those lug nut covers leaves black streaks. So if you don't want those black streaks and you're gonna do something like this, make sure you remove your lug nut covers first. These are lug nut covers are now super clean. We got the step clean, the walk deck clean, the back of the tank's clean. We did the steps. We did a little bit of everything. So we are getting everything clean so that we can start polishing it. We also are going to do the drive or the trailer wheels. So after we get done polishing, or after we get done cleaning this, I'm going to flip this thing around. We're going to clean the trailer wheels the same way, and then we are going to polish them out. So stay tuned, and that's what today is about to look like. We'll give you a full breakdown on how we do this and what we're doing. One thing I definitely want to note, so we got this wheel here all acid wash like this. When you start rinsing it off, one thing you want to be sure of is that you're going to over rinse this wheel. So you don't want any acid left at all. You want it as diluted as absolutely possible. So whenever you think the wheel is clean and there's nothing left on it, just go for another like 30 seconds to a minute, okay? We're gonna get into every crack and crevice in the hub. Okay, we're spraying in there. Really just trying to dilute anything that might be left over. Around all the lug nut covers. Like you're gonna do all the holes, get underneath the valve stem, like you're washing this thing as if you don't want anything left at all. So biggest thing is just diluting it. You're diluting. Reason being, if you don't get all that acid diluted that's in there, and then you spray in here, look at that, it did to that inside wheels. If you don't get the acid fully diluted and you polish that wheel out looking super fresh, and then they run through a rain or go get it washed, if there's acid still in there, it will streak down the wheel, and they'll be like, hey, how come I have these white acid streaks in my freshly polished wheels? And it is because there was acid dried in and around the cracks and crevices, and when it got wet again, it came back to life, whatever, rehydrated, and it ran all over the wheels. You want to know how I know that? Did a Peterbilt. He had an acid wash before I did it. The acid hung up underneath of the light bars or whatever, underneath the bunk, the drop panels. It was in the drop panels. It rained that night. The water came down the bunk, into the drop panel, down the drop panel, and onto the tank. And I come out the next morning, and there were white streaks all down the tank. And so that's when I learned that you have to make sure it's really, really diluted. All right, on to the next step. All right, so typically we would do a van trailer out on the pavement, or out on the rock there, because, well, it's a tight fit in here. As you can see, that's within 2 inches, probably, somewhere right there. So yeah, I don't do a lot of trailers inside, but Jaden was like, I think we can do it. All right, cool. If you're gonna watch it, I'll back it in. So Jaden's getting it jacked up, and we are going to knock out some trailer wheels. Yay. All right, just took about 5 minutes to break this thing down. Took out the brushes, checked those, Took the 4 screws out of the head of this thing, slid the whole body out, and blew all the junk out of it. You can see there's junk all over the floor from it. Wasn't too dirty, but we didn't know last time Jaden had cleaned it out since he cut his hand and everything. We didn't know how many trucks had been done on it. So before I even start my job, just go ahead and make that easy. Now we're going to throw on a centering plate, a brand new 10-inch yellow berth, and we're ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Jaden's already on the job. He's already over there taking apart the old air system. It's got the air stuff on it, and I'll show you that in a second. So right next to this spot, and you're writing down all of the extra compounds left on this one. Yeah, same comment spot. You're writing things like this. Making sure this, or whatever you choose. In this case, it's an acid wash, and this spot will polish you right up. And then we choose acid wash, right? So what it is no oxidation layer cut through. So really all I'm doing is cutting off the oxidation, or whatever it's called by the acid. That actually turns like this pressure, it polishes back out. So it's relatively easy if you use a good quality acid and we use our chlorine acid wash. These are kind of shape, they got some pinion and stuff like that, but they're not so bad, they won't shine. They will bring out shine, turn black. Like, once they turn black, come out holding up in and be black that way. So what happens is if the wheel is too etched, then you know, as soon as you put on it, they become black. They're not shine. This spot's going to be once you seal up the aluminum with the quality sealant. That will practice carnauba, and then it has also got silica, emulsified silica, in there to help with water shedding and to help with sealing that aluminum from the elements. So kind of a dual action there. Up here, and normally I would switch fingers or switch hands, and I would come slide over to the other side and make my life easier. But with you guys watching via the camera, that is not a possibility. Cut underneath the valve stem, scrub underneath real good, all around it, all underneath it. That way, valve stem blends in nicely. Got a little piece of tar or something silicone right here, so missed spot solvents will take that right out. Okay. Now we can leave that with the spot just like that where it's dry and wipe that off, or we can take and give this a little shake and just wet it back up real fast like that. And then we're ready to flannel it. So, got our flannel here, break that off. Break that flannel off, get out any extra. I'm gonna fix this shoelace real quick. Okay. Let's get it. And then do the back wall first. We'll try to do the back wall as you do the lip and get fingerprints all over it. That is colored. Now we're going to come back through. Wipe off all the excess mist spot. If you want to, if your wheel's too pitted, you can come back through at this point and use whitening powder and take off some extra polish with the whitening powder. In this case, it should be good just to buff it off and be set. Limits. Polishing mode. Good caster gun. reinstall our airplanes. So we got this airline here. These are for the auto inflation system on these trailers. This is the Hendrick setup. The other setup is a, what is it? I'm trying to think of the name of this now. We have it on one of our trailers. It's like, can't remember. Either way, they're both basically the same thing. They work the same. It's not going to 7/16. It's just literally like just like that. Very good. Okay, that was done. We're ready to rock and roll.
Is that better? She's about gone, but she fucking can't.
Do we have a bunch more of these?
No.
Huh?
Like heavy ass grits. They don't have the red.
I'll see you when you get here tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Hey, get that other box. I didn't realize I never closed the back of my car.
Huh?
It's always something around here, ain't it?
With them two. That's a fact. Just a little better?
A little, yeah.
Just a little. It is the next day, and Jaden got the drives all done up on this thing, and the back of the tanks are done. That step is all cleaned up, looking decent. This truck was pretty rough. It's been acid washed quite a bit. Anyway, the steers are done here, and I did the steers over on this side. So I did this steer and then these steps. And we're gonna need to wipe this panel back down here because that is all covered in dust now because I decided to tire drip the plastics. The plastics were all faded on this, and when we acid washed the steps, it actually took the oxidation off of the plastics and left kind of a clean spot. And so we went through and tire dripped the whole side of it to bring it back and just kind of revive the old plastics. And then Jaden had the fan running while he was polishing these wheels, and that fan just yoofed the whole side. So apparently it's a little stickier than it needs to be. I told him just wipe it down after everything, so I imagine it was pretty thick on there, which is good. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to soak in to the plastiques. So anyway, all that's done. Back of that tank's done. They're just hiding there, but we thought we'd clean them up since we acid washed them. This old drive looking good over here, and this truck is ready to roll. Thank you, Jaden, for making her pretty. It does good work. So, yeah. All right. So that is that for this video in truck number 222. We do like angel numbers around here, so that's cool. And we're gonna get this thing pulled outside and get the trailer hooked back up to it, call the customer, let them know his truck's done, and then in the next video, we're going to start polishing. We're going to start polishing the crew cab. I think as soon as we pull this truck out, we're going to start filming video of pulling the hood off. We're going to get the hood unbolted, and then we're going to strip half the hood. So we're going to try to get the paint stripper to strip, and then once we get that, we're trying to devise a method to get the hood stripped, or to get the paint stripped. So hopefully we will get that figured out today, and then we'll be off to the races on getting this truck polished out. All right. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay grinding.